Happy Spiritual Sunday to you. It was not just the Red Sea that split, water split. And that's what we're going to talk about, how we can do that today. So, as we always do, let's start with our affirmation. We want to be able to take all that we've learned, all this spiritual technology called Kabbalah, and we want to bring it to today's world. With all that we see in the world today, we want to be able to remove pain, suffering, and death. And that's all that the Kabbalists have offered us. The universal, immutable laws that we can all apply, no matter what our background, where we came from, etc., to remove the chaos. In essence, we could say split the Red Sea. So let's start with our affirmation. We'll say it together. Consciousness is everything. I raise my consciousness today to see the miracles and wonders of life. I commit myself to behave with greater love, compassion, and kindness towards all human beings. So I wanted to make sure that everybody, whoever's watching, whoever will watch this, will understand that starting tonight, actually, is called the seventh day of Passover, the seventh day of Pesach. And those of you who've been following us for a while, you know that there's nothing that the Kabbalists have ever taught that belongs only to a certain group, certain religion, certain culture, what have you. Everything that the Creator has given us, everything that the Creator is that we can access, the peace of the Creator inside of us, is common to all human beings, and therefore it has one technology that we can all make use of. And yes, we make use of it in our own unique way, in our own unique situations, but the technology is the same. And so I wanted us to understand the opening that's available on this seventh day after we, all of us, left Egypt. And I want to just start with, for those of you not familiar, at least to understand the physical story. And many of you have been with us for a while. You understand that the Kabbalists teach in the Zohar that the 5 books of Moses, yes, it is true, it is a historical document, people did and lived and whatever, but the deeper understanding, and more important for you and me, is what spiritual, immutable laws they were making manifestation of, that we can do the same thing. We want to be able, in this case, because the seventh day after we left Egypt, after the 10 plagues, the seventh day is when we came upon the Red Sea, or what's called the Yam Suf. We came upon it and we split it. Now, the simple story, which the Zohar says we should not just look at it on a literal level, but understand its metaphysical technology and the code behind what's written in the 5 books of Moses. So the simple story looks like, well, you know, the Israelites left Egypt, got to the Red Sea, and suddenly there's the Red Sea, or the Yam Suf, which is an important distinction, in front of them, wild animals on both sides, and the Egyptian army coming after them. Because when we left Egypt, we, if you will, escaped the immediate trouble, but we did not remove from within us the inner cause that allowed us to be in slavery and bondage to our selfishness, ego, fears, addictions, compulsions, jealousies, animosities, etc. That's what happens on the seventh day. That's what's available to you and me tonight and tomorrow. The ability of splitting our Red Sea. And yes, we can do this same thing every day of the year. As the Kabbalists give us, and we teach in the Kabbalah Center, if you can take advantage of an open window, an easier way to access a tremendous amount of light, then in essence, the same actions that we could do any other day, we can get multiple times more power, transformation, blessing, and benefit from. So in a simple understanding, what we can do tonight and tomorrow is 365 times what we can do any other day of the year. Now, of course, we want to do it every day of the year. When we have the ability of doing 365 times as much, because it's a yearly event, if it's on a new moon, whichever new moon, we can do 30 times as much. And on the weekend, the Sabbath, Shabbat, we can get 7 times as much. So for those of you who are watching this live or will watch it before this evening, we have the opportunity to connect with this power that allows us to remove at its cause aspects of our behavior that has allowed us as result and consequence to have all the chaos, confusion, discord, problems that we face. So the simple story goes, we left Egypt, we're facing the Red Sea, the Egyptians coming up behind us, and of course, Israelites, which is all of us, don't think it was them then, nor think it was just certain people today, but on a true spiritual level, every person has the potential to be an Israelite, which is not a Jew, a Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, but somebody who just has the potential, has been given the power by the Creator, of a piece of the Creator inside, to manifest all our light and have eternal bliss. But we, using our free will, have to overcome all of the things that we have done, the mistakes we've made of jealousy, fear, ego, guilt, shame, blame, victimization, all the forms of reactive behavior. And this is why the Kabbalists have been telling us from the beginning of time, we create our own world. So we can fix the mistakes we've made. If we've made a mess, we can clean it up and bring pure harmony and order. So here we are standing at the Red Sea, Egyptians coming supposedly to come get us. And we cry to Moses, why did you take us out of Egypt? Were there not enough graves in Egypt? We had to come out here in the desert to die. So as the story goes, Moses prays to God. And something that my teachers, the Rav and Karen, always said, sort of in jest, if you will, Moses cries to God. This is the physical story. And God literally says, why are you crying to me? Just go forward. And so as the Rav would often say, what the Creator was telling Moses, tell the Israelites, go jump in the sea. And then the Bible says there was Moses lifted his staff with the magic words of the name of God. A big wind came and made what you and I might consider low tide. And then the Israelites were able to cross the sea. And somehow, miraculously, all those millions of people were able to cross. And as the Egyptians tried to follow, the wind stopped and high tide started to come back and drown the Egyptians. That's the story. What I would like you to understand is what the Zohar explains. Number one, why wouldn't we cry to God? Today, millions of people, billions of people, when they're in trouble, they'll cry out to whatever their belief of the Creator is. Help me, help me, help me through this trouble, this chaos, this whatever it is. But even in its coded fashion, the Bible, the 5 books says, why are you crying to me? Move forward. So the Kabbalists explain to us, like you and I learn in the center, we learn here on Spiritual Sunday. Our job is growth and evolution. Keep raising our consciousness, so we can not only create greater miracles in our life, but also perceive the miracles that we create by our transformational sharing that we may not perceive with our 5 senses what looks like a miracle. For most people, sure, the miracle is their sickness disappears, their trouble just disappears. But the bigger miracle that I've learned in the center from my teachers is when we take away at its root level the cause of what was going to bring some kind of trouble, pain, suffering, death, discord, or challenges in business, health, relationships, lack of peace of mind, etc. Taking those away before they show up is a bigger miracle than letting it show up and then turning the chaos back to order. So, first thing to think about is we are encouraged to move higher. If you're sitting here and today you have any form of chaos, confusion, discord, any negativity, as we will grow, as we will manifest more of the light within us through this effort of sharing in the face of darkness, in the face of feeling reactive, act unconditionally loving, shine forgiveness, compassion, kindness, generosity, gratitude, etc. out into the cosmos, even towards and through the people in our life that we've judged, the chaotic situations in the world. We want to just shine light, because then that light will bring us clarity, greater blessings. It will support us in overcoming our Red Sea. And I want to share with you, in the original language, it doesn't say Red Sea. It's Yam Suf, the sea of endings, or we could call it the sea or the world of limitations. So when a person thinks that their chaos, their problems are overwhelming, that's the perception of limitation. That's forgetting in the moment that the infinite light of the Creator is inside them, waiting, yes, for them, for us to use our free will to shine consciously more of our soul's light out into the world. And as we will do that, as we often say and remind ourselves, light is the only thing in the universe that will take away darkness. Doesn't matter who you are, what you have, what capability you have, whatever you think about yourself, only light takes away darkness. And therefore, we can all extrapolate that only the infinite light of the Creator has the capability and the guarantee to remove all the pain, suffering, and death of the world, individually and collectively. All we have to do is simply, and I'm not saying it's easy in the face of our challenges and having our buttons pushed, but it is simple. Simply meditate, hold the thought, take a beam of that light of the Creator that's inside us, that fills every human being's soul, and just meditate to shine it out into the world, through every situation, out to every human being on earth. And light will help all of us in our level, in our personal situations, to take away the darkness, have clarity and support of the light to bring things back into harmony, order, and the blessings that the Creator has already bestowed upon us in full potential that it's our job to make manifest. And so here we are, splitting the Yam Suf, overcoming all the limitations, the false beliefs we may have about ourselves, the false beliefs we may have about other people, the false beliefs we may have about the way the universe works. Some people have said, there's nothing guaranteed but death and taxes. Okay, that's also a false belief, because the infinite light can never die. And as we will make our light 100% manifest, then we can never die either. And the promise of every religion, every spiritual teaching is immortal life. Yes, people can fight over the ways to do that, because that opponent that we often speak about, that we learn about from Kabbalah 1 forward, has taken this pure system of the Zohar that was distributed to all peoples of the world in their language, their physical languages, and their spiritual soul language. and corrupted it into what we call religion and divisiveness that unfortunately all religions have created and act upon in the physical world, across religions and within religions. And so you and I are here in the Kabbalah Center with this technology and the lineage that we have of all the master Kabbalists back to the origin of the Zohar. We have a way of understanding the spiritual technology that we can remove all of the negativity, all of the blockages, all of the curtains that are hiding and holding back the light in our soul from shining out into the world and removing all the darkness and all the space between people, which is simply the darkness, the shells of the fear and the anger and the blame and the guilt and the animosity and resentment and all of that. That's space between people and also between a person and their own soul. Light will remove that space. And so I also want to share with you, because most of you, unless you've been learning in the center for a while, when we're all standing there, and remember, the Israelites are 12 sons of Jacob. That's the origin of the 12 tribes of Israel, because Israel is just the higher level name for Jacob the patriarch. If you know the biblical story, he fought with his opponent, as you and I do every day. Hopefully we're beating it and not giving into it. And as he defeated his opponent, his own spiritual limitations, he was raised, elevated from the level called Jacob to the level called Israel. He had 12 sons that are the seeds of the 12 tribes of Israel. So as we were there, and then there were, whatever you want to understand, meanwhile, other people besides his 12 sons, still part of the Creator, still the same material of the Creator in our soul, the same spiritual technology, but let's just call it like that each of the 12 tribes had their own frequency of light. And therefore there was a 13th aspect to humanity that was all the other people besides those 12 tribes and the descendants of those 12 sons of Jacob. All included, were all there at this Yam Suf. Today, 8 billion people on the planet face their own Yam Suf, their own limitations. And unfortunately, most people giving in to that limitation and therefore causing friction between the people on earth in one level or another. So when Moses used the spiritual technology that the Creator was reminding him, raise your level of consciousness and move forward. The power that's available in its most intense form on this day, the 7th day of Pesach, Passover, was the manifestation of the 72 names. Moses was given the code, how to use these, and many of you have seen this chart. If not, you can go on Kabbalah.com, you can get the whole book that explains it all, you can get copies of this, the 72 names, but Moses used those 72 names in his level and therefore able not to split just what's called the Red Sea or the Yam Suf, but as the Kabbalist, the Zohar teaches us, he went back with this technology. He went back to the conditions of creation, of the creation of water itself, and the condition that was put in that water, that with the right use of these 72 names, water would split. So not only what we call the Red Sea or that body of water that we were up against, but literally all water on earth split. Literally, if a person was in, I don't know, Timbuktu with a cup of water, and Moses was using this technology, the cup of water split. The Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, the Mediterranean, the Baltic, all bodies of water split because it's universal technology. The same way we teach, as the Kabbalists, the authentic Kabbalists teach. The Zohar is for everybody because it's technology of the soul. And so we can all use it and impact 8 billion people simultaneously. And so in this case, yes, all water split. But as there were 13 vibrational groups of us standing at that Yam Suf, when the water was split, it split into 13 pathways that each person related with their unique spiritual vibration of the light of God inside them, had their unique path to move through their limitations, to move from the side of chaos and confusion and illusion through their difficulty. It didn't say around, it didn't say just made it disappear. We went through it. As we teach from Kabbalah 1, we have to go through the darkness, awakening the light that's hiding inside that darkness in order to remove the darkness, have greater illumination, guidance, clarity, inspiration, and empowerment, how to go through that challenge and come out with harmony, order, blessings on our next highest level up of our potential of being 100% being of light. So there was nobody left out. Anybody who wanted to cross and overcome that Yam Suf, that sea of limitations as we see today. If you didn't believe it then, look at the world today. It's a sea of chaos. It's the entire earth in various levels of chaos, limitation. And we are here learning how we can split and go through and come out on the other side healthier, more empowered, more prosperous, more peaceful, more loving, more kind, more compassionate. And then continuing our journey, as the code says, through the desert into the promised land, which for you and me is revealing or re-revealing, or if you will, re-entering into the Garden of Eden, heaven on earth. It's here, it exists. It's just hard for us to see it, but we all have tastes of it. Every time we make a true breakthrough and we feel that new light, that next level of our soul's light being manifest, and that higher level of just peace and serenity, that's the next piece of our place in the Garden of Eden, heaven on earth. And so just to keep it in mind, all of us, there's not a human being on earth, no matter how we are all behaving or any of us are behaving, on the outside, on the inside, the Creator has made us, created us as pure beings of light. And I know, before you jump there, it's probably the most difficult thing for us to keep in mind. When we look in the mirror, for you and me and most people, it's hard to see sometimes when we've made that mistake of speaking a little impatiently, a little bit of judgment, a little bit of jealousy. Hard in those moments when we're looking at our own face in the mirror to say you are a pure being of light. Now imagine that expands out into the world, that people who've created such thickness of shells covering the light of their soul, for them to have that awakening, to be able to look in their mirror and see the pure being of light that's inside, so that as they can see the light being inside them that the Creator sees, that the Creator has created, imagine, as you and I experience, when you start to see that being of light, and then we look at the behavior we just did, we have discomfort, we have pain that we could have behaved in that way. So the point of the center, with the wisdom that all the great Kabbalists, from Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, who put the Zohar in writing, through Rav Ashlag, Rav Brenwyn, to the Rav and Karen, to today, Monica and Michael and all of us in the center. So as we spread the Zohar, and that's just shining light, Zohar, illumination, the light turns on, everyone will have a greater sense of the pure being of light inside. Everyone. Yes, even those people that are going through your mind now will have that vision, that sense of their pure beingness, and therefore different levels of inner pain, inner discomfort that will drive you, me, and everyone to fix the mistakes, to remove the darkness. Because at the moment we can perceive the being of light inside and see the shells of negativity we've created and realize it's those shells that we've created by our negative behavior that cause us pain. It is never the person outside. It is never the person doing or saying the nasty thing. It is never other people out there. The economic conditions, political conditions, whatever you want to call it. No, it is always whether we've let the light of our soul shine out and remove the darkness and levels of limitation, or, heaven forbid, acted in a reactive, egotistical, self-centered way that just adds more layers covering the light of our soul and therefore creating more inner pain. But the opponent in the head makes people blame everyone else, feel victimized by everybody else, put negativity out there on them. They're the cause. No. Every one of us is the cause and the creator of our life and our situations. And therefore, as we can unite and work together to just beam more light, transformational sharing, to break the shells of darkness by shining more of our soul's light out into the world, we are splitting the Yam Suf, our limitations, into the shells. Like you peel an orange, you basically discard the shell and you enjoy the sweetness of the orange fruit inside. That's the true meaning of the splitting of the Yam Suf. Removing the limitations, the negativity, the negative thoughts, the false beliefs about ourselves and other people, and then let that pure sweetness of the light of the Creator shine out and just manifest, show what was hidden before our transformation, what was always sitting there. Another level of peace, harmony, blessings, another aspect of heaven on earth, the Garden of Eden. That's it. Those of you who've been in the center, you've had those experiences already. Just doing more of it. Just doing more of it. So, give you another understanding, because for me it's essential that we understand, even historically. One, the Yam Suf. There were 13 pathways. Each of us, on a collective group level, let's call it, frequency of soul, had our own pathway to go through our limitations. Still based on, if you will, Moses, which is really a metaphor for us, using 72 names, using the power of the Zohar to split the vision of chaos, limitation, falsehoods from the pure light of unconditional love, shining our light, having our blessings, what every religion and spirituality teaches. Love your neighbor as yourself. Unfortunately, even in that, the opponent got in and taunted people to believe that that means only people of their own group. So whether it's their particular brand of religion or their own particular religion, No, love your neighbor as yourself is every human being on earth. And this is why I want to remind you also, or share with you, those who are not familiar, not only was this Yam Suf split into 13 pathways, but when the temples of Jerusalem existed, and there was a wall around the city of Jerusalem, as people came to visit that energy center of the universe, one, there was a place for every human being in the Temple of Jerusalem. Yes, everyone had their piece of it, their place to go congregate, but be in unity. It was one grand courtyard. And yes, we all had our particular, let's call it, place within that. But like an orchestra, there's whatever, 10, 100 seats, each group in their own particular area, but it is one orchestra. So to get into the city of Jerusalem, guess what? 13 gates. 13. One again, for each of the particular 13 vibrational, unique frequencies of light that exist in all of humanity. So we each had our way to enter into the energy center of the universe. We had our own unique path to cross our Yam Suf, our limitations. And for those of you unfamiliar, 13 is not an unlucky number in Kabbalah. 13 is the numerical value of love and care. Love is unity. So we all had the ability of being unified as one soul crossing the Yam Suf. We all had the ability 2,000 years ago to enter into that holy city, which we know Kabbalistically doesn't mean it was a holy Holy, but as my teachers taught me, holy as in complete, Wholly, complete. And another way to look at it, the word shalom, that many of you, and you have different forms of the same word, but shalom that means peace is from the same root as the word shalem, completeness. There is no such thing as perfect peace until there's absolute perfect completeness, completely revealing the 100% of our light, completely uniting all 8 billion pieces of soul light into one ultimate spiritual being, as we were in Genesis 1 when we came out of the endless world, as one being with 8 billion, let's call it spiritual cells. We shattered, and now we're working to put those pieces back together. And that's why for 101 years now, since Rav Ashlag formally organized what we call the Kabbalah Center, it's only had one mission: bring peace and harmony to every person. Let every human being on earth, regardless of their background, where they come from, whatever, to learn this spiritual technology, to be able to be united fully in shalom, in shalem, peace, harmony, wholeness within themselves, between their body and their soul, completeness. And then at the same time, as being completely connected to their soul and removing the limitations of the 5 senses, of the pull of the body consciousness, to bring it in alignment with the soul consciousness. The only way to do that is by sharing more light. And once we do that, we're shining light out to 8 billion people, because we're all one and on that one spiritual internet. So we're impacting every human being on earth. And therefore, as you want all of our blessing, want to achieve our full potential, we can only do it by shining light out to the world, the complete world, and therefore everybody wins. It's a win-win situation. So they're getting a spiritual awakening as we're removing some of our darkness and layers of limitation. And so as we strengthen our desire for our full 100% bliss, it necessitates not giving in to the limitations, not looking at what they've done, not listening to what they say, but opening, as the Zohar calls it, the eyes of our heart to see what's inside their heart and soul, sending light to wake more of that light up that will remove their darkness that has allowed you, me, and them to behave in any way that's not light-like behavior. And the more we turn on the light, the faster we remove the darkness. And so for these 101 years, the center has been open to teach everybody. And today, more and more, like you can see on Spiritual Sunday from all over the world, all nations, backgrounds, cultures, languages, because we all have one soul. We all have one soul. Now, just also another piece of the story, Moses used and pronounced properly, and I don't ask you, I wouldn't encourage you to try and pronounce them, but we can scan as we do in our meditation, which we'll do one today. As Moses did that, for many people, the illusion was still there. Because like you and me who are making a greater voluntary effort to be spiritual and face our negativity and transform, we have greater certainty that the system is the system. But there are people on earth who are still caught so much in their darkness and their limited beliefs that they don't see, even they don't perceive with the eyes of their heart, even the light being that's inside them. So on the level of 3,400 years ago, there was one man who was willing to break that limitation for all the people who couldn't see that the limitations were breaking. His name Nachshon. And he jumped into the water, and it says he kept going with such certainty that even though it didn't appear to many people that it split, he kept walking. It says the water, imagine he's walking deeper and deeper. So it went from his chest, went up to his neck, until it literally covered his nose, and then it disappeared. What does that mean for you and me today? That you can never, ever give up. The stronger our desire for our full 100% blessing and eternal bliss, we can move forward and keep moving forward. And even though it looks like the challenges may still be there, the limitations, false beliefs may be there, but if we keep moving forward, shining more light, certainty in the power of the light of the Creator to remove all darkness, all chaos, all divisiveness, all animosity, anything that puts space between the heart and soul of any of the 8 billion people and each other, the more we just keep going on the path of the light unconditionally. We may have to reach that point, but at that moment it will split. When we've achieved what, let's call it in our level, a critical mass of revelation of light, will remove all the darkness. Like those of you who have dimmer switches on your lights at home, you have to keep turning it up, 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 till it's full, and then all the darkness of the room or that space will disappear. Same thing spiritually. That's what Nachshon was showing us. How to just have that perseverance, that determination. To follow the path of light, no matter what we think we see. So before we do our meditation, just sort of in closing, think, where are you in your life standing in what you think is between the rock and the hard place? What you've perceived, that now you understand it a little more clearly, is your Yam Suf, your sea of limitations. And all of us, I don't care who we are, when we feel stuck, when we feel confused, when we are feeling the discomfort and the pain of our chaos, we all in that moment are at our Yam Suf. We are all giving in momentarily to our limitations and our limited belief. But you and I, from Kabbalah 1 forward, we learn the technology called the proactive method of how to transform all of our darkness into light, all of our chaos into order, by removing those coverings. And so think, where is your limitation? Be objective about it. Don't look outside. Don't blame others. And again, for those of you who are newer, I'm not saying that people don't say and do negative things. We do, they do. The only difference is the intensity of them. So whereas you and I may have, let's say, a little bit of impatience we call being annoyed, other people have the same behavior or the same feeling of impatience, but because they've created more shells and curtains hiding their light, so their annoyance will become speaking badly, screaming at people, maybe even doing physical things, violence or what have you, towards others. But it's still based on the same essence of impatience. So as you and I turn up the dimmer switch of the light of the Creator by our transformational sharing, by our spreading even more of these pocket-sized Zohar, but any form of Zohar, we're taking away the darkness, we're bringing the light to be more powerful and impactful in the heart and soul of every human being. And when we reach that collective critical mass of light, that the darkness disappears, that the angel of death disappears and becomes again its original status of the angel of life, that the darkness disappears and the chaos of the world disappears and the original status of heaven on earth, the Garden of Eden, shows up to our eyes, to our heart. That is what the Kabbalists speak of as the Messiah, is you and I revealing enough light collectively that all the darkness disappears, the Yam Suf is split, the limitations go away, and the unlimited nature of the Creator in us individually, collectively, will be revealed. And that is when there will be eternal heaven, blessings, peace, love, unity. May we all, tonight and tomorrow, take enough time, make enough effort, that you, me, and all the people in all the centers around the world who will be making this connection, whether online, for those who are not near a physical center, those in the physical center, to making this connection, may it be that we open our heart, open the eyes of our heart to see the light that exists in everyone, that we see clearly that everyone, all 8 billion people on the planet, are extensions of our individual vibrations heading out there, that we are all interconnected, that the opponent will have to disappear in the face of light, and that we will live in that state eternally. Peace, love, and unity. God bless. So those of you who are usually with us, you know that this is the time. Oops. Oh, yes. Oh, that we bless our offering. It is a free will offering. In this case, we're all online. So I just put the link there. Open your heart, open your soul, and listen with gratitude to your soul that's encouraging you, me, and everyone. One, to appreciate what we have, but two, to realize the only reason we've been given our talents, abilities, and our resources is to do the same thing as we do with the light in our soul. Share it out into the world to remove all the darkness, all the pain, suffering, and death. And so this is why we take this time to meditate, to inject and infuse your gift, your offering that goes through the center to 8 billion people on the planet, to remove all of the illusion that everybody will see, experience, and live the peace, harmony, and unity that we really are. So let's just close our eyes for a moment, just to give gratitude. Gratitude for who we are, gratitude for this wisdom, that we grow in the manifestation of one unified soul, that we can see the chaos, we can feel the pain of other people who are caught in their Yam Suf, their limitations. Feel the pain of their soul that cries to be out of that prison, out of that limitation, out of that darkness. And know with absolute certainty that you and I understand the technology and the power of the Zohar, the book of the Zohar, to remove all darkness, to activate the full energy of the light of the Creator in every human being. And so we inject our gift, this contribution and support of all the projects of the center to bring this wisdom and the Zohar to the entire world. So that, as the Zohar says, we can bring the end of the Yam Suf, the end of the exile, the end of pain, suffering, and death with mercy, as we voluntarily face our chaos, give generously to support these projects that create miracles for 8 billion people on the planet. And as we know, cause and effect is absolute. The faster we spread the light, the more light we spread, the more miracles and blessings come back to us. Together we say, Amen. So I chose today, this is one of the 72 names. Those of you who are brand new, yes, you see 3 Hebrew or Aramaic letters, in this case, Vav, Vav, Lamed. But we've been taught not only by the Kabbalists, but there are various spiritual systems out there that say the same thing. The Hebrew letters are the DNA of our soul. They are manifestations of various frequencies of the light of the Creator. And therefore, they wake up, they activate the light inside our soul, because as we look at them, eyes being the window to the soul, the energy shining out, Vav Vav Lamed, is activating the light in our soul. And this one in particular has the frequency of making the impossible possible. And so I'll put it back up in a minute, but many of you may have seen something like this. Impossible is not impossible. Nothing is impossible to the light of the Creator. No darkness can overcome the light. And so impossible means, yes, it is possible. I am possible. So we want to use the Vav Vav Lamed to strengthen our certainty, to elevate our consciousness of absolute certainty in the light, that we can make what many people think is impossible into the true manifestation of possibility of peace on earth, heaven on earth, Garden of Eden in our time now. So just look at the shapes, Vav Vav Lamed. Let it be engraved in your mind's eye. And then if I can ask you just to sit comfortably in your seat, hands on your lap. Allow yourself to relax, taking a few deep breaths, breathing in through the nose. Hold the breath for a moment. Exhale through your mouth. Increasing consciously the circulation of breath, the breath of life, meaning that the air is actually empowered to bring life to us through the light of the Creator that exists in the air itself. And that's why as we bring it in and circulate it through us, it is helping to cleanse any forms of limitation, any aspects of the Yam Suf we're still holding on to. And allowing us to feel the vibration of the pure light that exists in us and all around us, relaxing into the trust and the certainty. Light will transform all darkness and chaos to harmony, order, and blessings. So allowing yourself to feel wrapped, hugged in the light of unconditional love. Together, in unity, we envision the Vav Vav Lamed just above our heads. We take a moment to see with the eyes of our heart the beam of light from the endless world, the channels from the endless, infinite, pure world of light, that beam that shines into and through Vav Vav Lamed. So we see it above our head, shining with the brightest light we could even imagine, and yet not blinding light, but pure illumination. And we can feel the vibration of unconditional love. The light that makes what we thought was impossible possible. And so let's bring that Vav Vav Lamed through the top of our head. One, as it reaches our brain, the light from the Vav Vav Lamed removing the darkness, revealing the pure light, allowing us to hear the thoughts of our soul, of our piece of the Creator inside of us, that's inspiring us, guiding us in the ways and means to remove our limitations, to hear more clearly the voice of our soul over the voice of the opponent. And that voice of the opponent fades to obscurity. as the light grows brighter. And continue to bring the energy of possibilities, true infinite possibilities of the Vav Vav Lamed. Bring it down to your heart. Where we feel the vibration of enthusiasm, strength, support to unlimit the abilities of our soul, to unlimit, to free from the bondage of our perceived limitations, the power of our piece of the Creator inside of us that makes all good possible, to the ultimate unity, love, peace, harmony among all humanity. And let the light, Vav Vav Lamed, shine throughout all your being now from head to toe. So together we take a beam of light, Vav Vav Lamed, from our head and our heart, simultaneously unifying a beam that extends out of us to the heart and soul of all our family and friends, awakening a greater level, higher level of the Vav Vav Lamed, infinite possibilities, the true certainty and the power of peace on earth, heaven on earth for all, and also the guidance that each person needs to take them on that path of light into their entrance to the Garden of Eden. And now shining that out from them to the heart and soul of all humanity. All humanity. Let's see together in unity this network of beams of light that are uniting 8 billion hearts and souls. That the true light being inside each of us is now awakened, fully awakened. And we are giving it power over the opponent, over the illusion, over any limitations that any of us have accepted over all our lifetimes. And as this light of Vav Vav Lamed awakening and shining from each of us, the limitations disappear, the happiness, joy, peace, serenity that is the pure light of the Creator, now controlling and guiding each and every one of us. Record this feeling, this vibration. Record any inspiration, guidance that you've been given to deal with your particular personal Yam Suf, seas of limitation. And keep always in your mind's eye and in your heart this unity, this world of light that we have now seen, felt through this meditation. That we apply it out into our daily life more simply, more effectively, and more powerfully. Take one more deep breath to anchor, solidify, and keep it in your heart and soul. And slowly exhale and open your eyes. Thank you for joining us. Please, in a few moments after we sign off, you can go right back on this Spiritual Sunday Facebook page and just push on the video share. Let it go out into cyberspace. Let it reach the people who are ready for it. Because we trust in like attracts like. So people out there who are looking for, have not yet found us, have not found the Kabbalah Center, nor this event, Spiritual Sunday, they will come upon your sharing this video. And therefore, you will receive a piece of light that they're revealing by being inspired, guided, and uplifted. And the world will be the next level up. Peace and harmony, and less chaos and confusion. So I bless us all that we will see the end of this chaos soon. We can make it happen. We know how to do it. We have to be focused, determined, and committed. God bless. Have an amazing day, an amazing splitting of your Red Sea, of your Yam Suf. And I look forward to seeing you next week. God bless.
Thank you for joining us. If you liked what you saw, subscribe to this channel that you'll be notified when we post new videos. Share the video with your friends, they can also benefit. And check out the website, www.kabbalah.com, that's Kabbalah, for hundreds of articles and classes. Wish you an amazing day, and God bless.